Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, fuck, I forgot to look again. 35, 36, something like that. I mean, we survived the election. I mean, I guess so far the election's technically not over yet because Trump won't quit. But we survived the election and have kind of taken a break on other activities on the podcast. So, yeah, we're here. We're doing it. Sam's in Florida. Max is in the other side of town. AC's at work. And we're all fully distracted on our hunting trip that is this coming week. So all of our internal podcast conversation, text messaging is about who's bringing what and where and what time we're leaving. And can we leave earlier than that? Or even earlier than that? Can we leave sooner? Can we leave tomorrow? So that's what we've been doing. So it's the 14th of November. Episode has begun. So yeah, who's excited about Thursday?
I am. I'm excited to get another deer for the season.
Yeah. Anything? I hope to at least get a shot off this year. I didn't have anything I could even shoot at last year.
Yeah, I didn't see anything.
I mean, I saw some, but I never got.
Tuesday I got 3 shots off. What do you think about that?
Well, we want to talk about the terribly inhumane miss. Well, semi-miss.
No.
No. Poor girl's out there just slowly bleeding to death.
I don't think it was that much.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah, I'm excited. The weather's going to be a little warmer than I think I want, but my warm weather slacks came in today.
Like low in the 40s maybe is what they're forecasting.
Yeah, overnight, I think the overnight mid-40s is the coldest it's going to get. But I think that's only like one night, too. I think most nights it's like about 50. But
it goes. I was looking at the weather report. I think I mentioned this in our chat group that it's warm and it starts to get colder, and then on Thursday when we get there, it starts warming up again. So they said that trend is a good hunting time after a cold dip. And they step up barometric pressure and face the moon and all sorts of crap. What is that?
The neighbors.
The neighbors.
Oh, I was going to blame that on Max. I figured that kind of sounded like Max's girls running downstairs or something like that.
No, I don't have. They're all gone.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So, I don't know what's new and exciting in the world. Like I said, like I was saying in the intro, like all we've talked about amongst ourselves this week is prepping for the hunting trip. That's like, I guess we had I realized last night watching some game that we kind of have a soft version of my crazy college football plan in motion this year.
Forewarning, about to hear an alarm. All right. Good. Sorry, go ahead.
You're good. Because the idea being you only play in conference, and that's how everybody's doing their COVID stuff, is everybody's staying in conference to protect themselves.
Yeah, but it's not really what you have in mind.
No, but I mean, it's going to be interesting.
For championship.
But it's going to be interesting in that, like Clemson runs the table in the ACC, which, well, I don't know. Notre Dame's actually in the ACC this year because they had to get into a conference so they could play anything this year. So whoever wins the ACC, Notre Dame or Clemson, whoever wins the SEC. Say again?
Clemson lost last week.
Oh, did they? So
yeah, two Notre Dame.
Okay, so then Notre Dame's going to win the ACC. Alabama, I guess, going to win the SEC. I don't see why not. The Big Ten right now is like Indiana just beat somebody today. And so, like, of the Power 5 conferences, it's going to kind of be the if they do the playoff or however they're going to do the playoff, it's going to be a pick of the winners of the Power 5 conferences. So you're just going to have one power conference is going to be excluded, and it's probably going to be the Big Ten this year, would be my guess.
They're playing really short. They're only playing like 7 games or something.
And they have no replacement schedule. Like if if they have to skip a game for some reason, it's just canceled. There's no postpone. There's no opportunity to make up games in the way they did their schedule. So any games,
they weren't. I mean, it was like 3 weeks ago they decided to play, right?
Well, it was the Pac-12 was the one that just started because Pac-12 is on week 2.
Oh, Pac-12. That's what I was thinking about. Yeah.
Yeah, Pac-12 is like week 2, but I don't know. I was watching some of the game day or whatever today, and it's like Oregon's probably going to run the table in the Pac-12, so it'll be Oregon, Alabama, Notre Dame, and I don't know who the fourth is. And so I'd like.
Yeah, I don't know.
But anyway, it's just gonna be whoever wins the big conferences, and one will be excluded, and barring, I don't know, Indiana or Wisconsin running the table, I don't think a Big Ten team's gonna make it. So whoever's in the Big 12, whoever wins the Big 12 will be the fourth team. Would be my guess right now.
I mean, if they only play 6 games, how do you have like a 8-2 SEC team get beat out by a team that's 6-0, or
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I mean, that's going to be an argument. Like, no matter what, there's going to be an argument this year, I'm sure.
Right, and it's an asterisk year anyway. So no matter what, it's going to be yeah, they won their conference, but I mean, even whoever wins because Clemson at this point will be. I don't know if they're playing an ACC championship because it'd be a rematch, I guess. Which I guess gets interesting if Clemson turns around and beats Notre Dame in their ACC championship. But that's normal.
Yeah, because they had their quarterback was out for COVID or whatever.
Yeah.
True.
Clemson.
Yeah.
Something like that. So that's why they lost. It wasn't they got beat.
Yeah. I mean, probably, I don't know. Notre Dame's pretty good, I guess, is what everybody's saying. But they always say that every year. Notre Dame's the most chronically overrated team in college football, I think. Like every year.
Yeah, it's part of what they said about, Boise State for years. They weren't playing, very many hard opponents.
Yeah, but they never.
They look great in perspective.
Right, but they would be like a 24 to start the year and slowly work their way up. Where Notre Dame is top 5 every year, no matter what happened last year, no matter how many players they lost or gained or any. Like Notre Dame is chronically overrated.
Oh, whatever, man. I think there's still enough, good players that still want to go play for Notre Dame, with it being just kind of a nostalgic school.
I mean, I agree.
So, I think they've always had at least decent players going there to
play.
Right.
I fully agree with that. I just think realistically, if it wasn't that part of it, I think that also leans that they get better rankings than they actually are. So, Wisconsin's up 21-0 on Michigan. Yeah, go Badgers.
Ooh.
Yeah, take my wins where I can get it.
Badgers.
Go Badgers. I mean,
it's a rallying cry like that.
It's hard to be a Tennessee fan right now, so I'm leaning on my number 2.
They didn't lose this week.
Do what?
That's a good thing. Tennessee didn't lose this week.
No, they didn't. I mean, maybe they'll figure the way the season's going. They'll figure out a way to lose on a bye week or on an off for sickness week.
When are they rescheduling that game?
I don't know. I hadn't seen the reschedule yet.
I think it was December 12th.
That's crazy. When's the SEC? Are they doing it? I mean, I haven't even looked at it. Are they actually scheduled? Do they have an SEC championship schedule?
I think they're still playing it by ear at this point, just because there's so many leagues that have essentially started late. Like the Big Ten has played 3 games.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm just saying, just the SEC. The Big Ten's not going to have one because they don't have enough games. I don't know.
Right. But I mean, if you essentially want to go to what we had been doing is the whole college playoff system, you've got to have, most of the conferences playing most of their season before you really find out if you really want to have the conferences going against one another.
Right, but I'm just saying, just the championship games are inside the conference, and right. So
yeah.
I don't think they have a SEC championship this year.
No, I think everyone's conceded that their seasons are getting pushed back, depending on what's hell's going on.
I mean, bowl games. We're gonna have Cotton Bowl and all the other bowl games like they normally have.
I would think they're gonna try to do it as much as they can. Yeah.
I mean, Google says the season was scheduled to begin on September 3rd, 2020, and will end with the 2020 SEC Championship game on December 5th. That's from Wiki. I don't know. I don't see a date of when that article was written.
There's regular scheduled games on December 5th, and then they have the makeup games on December 12th.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's what I was reading. Is a lot of the, delayed or whatever games were getting rescheduled for the 12th.
Yeah, that's how the schedule looks now.
So this one came out on October. This article came out on CBS Sports on October 29th. It says the conference announced Thursday that the kickoff for the December 19th game will be a shift from its typical 4:00.
That's fake news.
And it will be in Atlanta on CBS.
To the week after.
Yeah. So at least the SEC is playing a championship game as of right now. To be fair. But I don't know. It's weird. I don't know. It's just weird watching football right now. Like, just doesn't. It certainly doesn't feel the same. I don't know if it's the lack of I don't know if the lack of fans in the stadium actually translates to the watchability on TV. Because pro ball feels the same to me. Other than, Rodgers is a master at the hard count, and now he can do it on the road, where he could only do it at home before. Little stuff like that, but it still feels like a football game to me. Other than the stupid mask thing, like we were talking about last week, or a couple weeks ago, how it's like, are we really concerned about a coaching staff and a team that spend all day every day together for months on end, or is it really just they're required to wear masks by the conference and the leagues and stuff like that to show it to the public?
That's exactly it. Right. It's with all the commercials like wear a mask, do the right thing, blah blah blah. And then if they watch football and these guys aren't wearing masks, they're like, why are they not wearing masks?
Right. It's just it's a measure to encourage.
They're telling us to wear masks.
Right. So, I don't know. And I guess they're trying to do basketball. I saw the UT men's and women's teams announce their schedules for this year. I hadn't seen when anybody was playing or where or who or whatever because it's basketball at Tennessee. But, I mean, hell, we should have started hockey by now, too. I haven't seen
11:25 Tennessee playing Charlotte.
Nice. Sam, have you seen anything about the NHL schedule for this year?
Nah, I haven't noticed anything.
Yeah, because they usually start late October.
Yeah, they still don't have anything for NHL. But NBA starting, which is funny.
Yeah,
they're having their draft.
They just had their championships like a month ago.
Yeah, and their draft is in 4 days, and then they start in December. It's going to be weird to say. They don't even really have an off season. They had a COVID off season, I guess.
I mean, basketball.
I did see something about the Toronto Raptors were worried they weren't being able to be able to play their games inside. I guess to keep up with coronavirus protocols as far as teams traveling around. I guess it's them being able to travel in and all the U.S. and the U.S. having to travel up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, with international issues.
All right.
I wonder if Hawaii still has that. Is Hawaii even playing football?
Yeah, they're playing.
I thought I saw something about the NHL trying to do kind of centralized, kind of like they did with this NHL playoffs. They had it to two certain locations and had everybody pretty much kind of, kind of like what the NBA did with their playoffs, and trying to do that, with certain sections of the NHL and having conferences kind of bubble themselves to have central games at one location.
All right, fake news. ESPN says right now the NHL is trying to start on January 1st. They'd originally were talking about a December 1st start date, but has been moved back to January 1st.
Yeah, fake news. That's fake news.
Yeah, fake news, ESPN.
You can't believe them.
All right, you're on a tirade about fake news. What's your deal today? What's your fake news story that you're pissed off about?
Oh, no, I was just saying that just to make fun of the general news feed. Most of the stuff just kind of gets blown off as that's fake news. That's fake news.
I was listening to Jimmy Dore show today. You guys listen to that at all?
No.
He's interesting. Like I couldn't put a party on him if I tried, even outside the major two. He's really good at shitting on Trump. He's really good at shitting on whoever the Democrat in conversation is. And he was going through, like, apparently there's been a couple of different people who have put out their predictions and who the talk is for the different cabinet members that Biden's pushing here and there. And Buttigieg is either going to be the ambassador to the UN or, God, what was the other one? Can't remember what the other one for him. And then Mayor Garcetti from LA is the most likely pick for the Department of Transportation head under Biden's campaign, which I don't quite, I don't know enough about LA and their problems to see why he would be a good pick for that, but apparently he's been a long-term Biden supporter. The head of state, or the head of the State Department, or whatever, some lady who's spent her last 2 or 3 years in some think tank.
Wait, hold on.
Go ahead.
Are you already calling the election?
I mean, I accepted that, on last week's conversation because.
No, did you? Okay, never mind.
Remember, I wasn't surprised. I'm disappointed, but not surprised. Remember that whole conversation?
No, not exactly.
Okay, well, we started the show last week.
Yeah, Biden's won. I mean, they're going to go through all this stuff. There's going to be a bunch of stuff about, voter fraud, blah, blah, blah. There's nothing's going to happen. And then it's going to give it to Biden. I mean, that's
right.
I mean, they're not going to change it.
I don't think so.
Even if they found stuff, there's nothing.
Well, the thing is, they will find stuff, just not at the scale that's going to make a difference. Because the reality,
I was trying to watch, there was a big million. There was supposed to be like a million
MAGA
march. Yeah. And I was trying to watch some news videos of that just to see if I could see how big the crowds were. It wasn't huge. It was kind of hard to tell at what point of the rally it was, because apparently they marched from Liberty Square or something. They were going to march to the Supreme Court because that's where they believe that the election is going to be decided.
Yeah, I'd heard something about
kind of their main point.
Yeah, it's somewhere during the march they started yelling "Fox News sucks." I heard something about that. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean that's hilarious. That the right wing are turning against Fox News now. They're Fox News is so left wing and liberal and fake. It's wait, hold on a second.
It's establishment news. It's just the righter version of establishment news.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it is. But anyway, yeah. So I gotta buy AC's hunting license. That was the deal. And then we'll go through this fucking 3-month process where every time I try to pay him for it, he's like, "No, we'll deal with it later," until I have to.
Because do it on the pod.
Right. Well, last year, I guess I don't remember what it was. I was at his house. I think it was after we went to Chuck Swan. Came back. I was dropping him off at his house, and he'd lost some other bet. It was a football bet or something to me for $50, and so the hunting license is 70 something. And I happened to have a 20 in my pocket, and I put it on his dining room table, and then I took a picture of it, sent it to our group chat, and I was like, "Here, I paid you, motherfucker." But I didn't say anything to him while I was there. I just left it there with the picture. And so that was the only way I could get him paid, and that was before we started the podcast. So now I guess I probably have to do it on air and have him not only take it, but verbally acknowledge that I gave it to him on air, because otherwise he
just wants to tell you that you've never paid him for your bet. That's what he wants to do.
Right. It's just something to hold.
He wants you to say that he won.
Right. That's all he really cares about. Really, is that he just wants to hear it. But the longer
I was right.
Right. But
you were right and I was wrong.
Right. The longer it takes, the longer he stalls of accepting the payment, the longer he can get me to, the more often he can get me to say it.
Yeah.
Because it's like, "Hey, you still owe me money. Do you remember why?" Over and over and over again.
It's a prolonged guilt trip.
Right. Yeah. So part one. So part one of Max's bet with AC, which is for the 2025 hunting license, I guess, is
yeah.
Part one is established. Part one is established, and then now we have We actually have a Biden president-elect unofficially to go forth with. I mean, did you see he came back in Georgia too? Like he took Georgia now.
Yeah, well, yeah, I tell you, I was looking at the Georgia one. It's kind of scary. Nothing happened, but I was looking at the night before where Trump was up 100,000 votes, and then I looked at the Senate race, and then the next day Trump lost by 50,000 votes. Was down by 50,000. So overnight, Biden gained 150,000 votes, but none of those 150,000 people voted for any of the senators or Congress or people, because those numbers didn't change. And I was like, kind of interesting that. So all those people just went and voted for a president and didn't fill out the rest of their ballot. How would some numbers change and not the other numbers change? A little weird. Like I said, nothing's going to happen with it. It's going to just,
right.
All that stuff's going to go.
I mean, that's the one state they're literally doing hand counts right now.
But that would
deadline, I think, of Wednesday.
But that one
hand count all of it.
But that's obligated by their state voting rules, is because it's within a certain percentage.
No,
it's not that Trump's campaign forced it or whatever.
No, it was because it was requested.
I thought one of the states, or maybe it was Pennsylvania, one of the states was saying that this is what they do. If it's within a certain margin, they automatically do a recount. I thought it was Georgia, but I could be wrong.
But it's not going to matter. States that he would have to pick up, to
right.
even make a difference. It's
right.
not like, okay, they found out there's voter fraud in Georgia, so they give, Trump Georgia. It's still not going to win him the election,
Right. He needs Georgia, Pennsylvania, and one of Wisconsin, Michigan, or Nevada, and he's not going to get 3 or 4.
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't think that's realistic, I guess.
It's a landslide in Trump terms.
Yeah.
When he won by these margins, he called it a landslide. I mean, it's almost like the exact margins that Trump won in 2016 that he called a landslide.
So he lost by a landslide this time.
Which, most people could, argue that this has been a damn near 49, 51% split vote among America.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's by no means a landslide whatsoever. I mean, if you want to look at it at the Electoral College version of it, it's still not even a landslide, but it's still a semi-close, even with the Electoral College system.
Yeah, but the other thing that I think is silly is they're talking about, people really cared and got out and voted and stuff. And I was like, no, because people could sit on their fucking fat ass at their house and cast a ballot. That's why there were so many more people voting this election than last election. I don't think it really had to do with more people went out and, I think obviously more people didn't go out.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see the actual numbers. I mean, there's people that still traditionally vote by mail anyway, just because they're elderly or whatever.
Yeah, but it's like 10%.
Just lazy that mail it in.
The air quotes normal mail-in ballots is like 10% of what it was this year, something like that. Like it's a ridiculously small number in comparison. Like this year was a huge number compared to what's normal. Yeah. I guess is a better way to say what I was trying to say.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of focus was on a handful of states that had done it traditionally, and they were kind of shown to be the sway states, just because they'd been doing it for the past not that long, the past maybe 5 to 10 years. They've implemented more vote-in balloting, as they've kind of gone traditionally towards that. I think Colorado and either Washington or Oregon has been doing it for a number of years. Yeah,
like North Carolina. Matt Shears was saying North Carolina is a no excuse, where just ask for it and you get it. You don't have to give a reason. And his argument was that it's because it is a swing state.
What's funny is the Electoral College was started because they didn't want the bigger states, they didn't want the bigger states deciding the election. That's why the whole Electoral College, because the bigger states would just decide the election and think it's fair. But what you have now is the bigger cities are deciding the election, which is why we originally had the Electoral College. I mean, it's just on a smaller scale, but you look at Pennsylvania. You got Phil. You look at all the counties that are red, and then you have Philadelphia that's blue, and then that's what changes the election, or Georgia where it's Atlanta,
Right.
or even up in your next Wisconsin and Minnesota. I mean, majority of those counties, and it's funny that the dense populated areas are deciding policy for the rest of the state.
Right. Like it was somebody said it. I can't remember exactly what the wording was, but it was like, you know, you want to complain about being a Democratic voter in Tennessee, where it's like, oh, it's automatically a Trump state. Imagine being a Republican voter in California.
Yeah.
Because,
well, I mean, yeah.
Because by math, your vote is worth even less than a Biden voter in Tennessee. A Trump voter in California is like 1/5 of a vote compared to a Biden voter in Tennessee.
Yeah, for sure. But I'm talking about California is very, very blue. But, you know, Oregon and Colorado, which are very, you know, you just have those main centers population deciding, you know, everything. You know, Portland is deciding what happens in the whole entire state.
Right.
And so, you know, talking to people from those areas, they're like, it's silly because, you know, my buddy Andy Friend who lives there, he's like, I don't know hardly any, you know, Democratic people and hit their area, but it's, you know, Oregon's a Democratic state because of Portland. Yeah. And I mean, I don't know a way to change it, because even if you went to the popular vote, you know what I mean? I mean, unless you give each county you do a mini version of the electoral college in each state that gives, you know, each county a certain number.
So I looked it up real quick just because you were talking about it. California, by number, was Biden 10.7 million, Trump 5.8 million. Joe Jorgensen, 200,000. What's up?
What percentage did you get of the total?
Like national? Fuck, I don't know.
Yeah. 3%.
I think it's less than that. It doesn't even show it on NBC News site.
That's fake news.
So all these Republicans getting to move out of the state out of the country.
That's what I kind of wonder, because there's a lot of Democrats, you know, that talked about that going into 2016. Like, oh, if Trump gets elected, I'm going to move to Canada. I mean, they were big, like, you know, TV and movie stars are like, I'm going to move to Canada if Trump gets elected. I kind of wondered if it was like kind of like the vice versa. You know, all these like right-wing people are like, we're just going to, you know, move to somewhere else if Biden gets elected, you know, because streets are going to burn and anarchists are just going to rule and socialists are going to take over.
Yeah,
but I mean,
that doesn't seem to be the concern. If these cabinet picks are right, I'm actually it's interesting in some of the different people I listen to and their takes on whatever, where, you know, I've heard a couple people talk about how, you know, Joe Biden's not going to push back against the radical left. The radical left is taking over the Democratic Party, and Biden's not going to be a stop to that. But then the Jimmy Dore one was talking about today. It's like, look at the list of people that are likely to get into these different cabinet seats. This is a centered, almost right of center, at least in the new left-right conversation. His cabinet is almost right of center, if it's not down the middle. And he's like, get ready for war, get ready for this, that, and the other. I won't even go. I'm not going into that part of it, but it's going to go back to, if you like the Biden era, then it's going to be very similar to that. Suzanne Rice is his pick for.
You like the Biden era? What?
I'm sorry, the Obama era. If you were happy in the Obama era, that's what Biden's going to push it back to. It's going to be it's an older white Obama is who Joe Biden is, according to Jimmy Dore, at least.
Well, I mean, I would think with a split, you know, essentially split Senate and Congress and House of Representatives, but to have a more centrist cabinet in general would be more advantageous.
Right. It's either
that can kind of cater to both sides.
Right. We're shaping up to either absolutely nothing gets done or a lot of stuff gets done that is more central, useful.
Making everybody happy, both sides happy, that
right.
They can then pass on to their constituents of it being a good idea.
Right. And I mean, I guess that's the best two options you could have. I mean, Either absolutely nothing or a centered version of everything.
Yeah. Can't always have our cake and eat it.
Well, I mean, in my opinion, it's better than a full left or full right version of whatever standard policies are. So I'd rather have nothing than a full left or a full right. I'd rather it be
how many of those
a gridlock situation. People, go ahead. Sorry.
Where are those people that he's saying is people that he wants to make from cabinet? How many are from California?
Mayor Garcetti would be one. Let me pull up the article again. Biden cabinet shortlist. I think it was an NPR article though. If that's not fake news, I'm not sure. Oh,
that's totally fake.
Oh no, it's Politico. So it's
they're federally funded. They're NPR's federally funded. They're fake news.
Well, I mean, what's interesting, who's not on the list of any cabinet would be Elizabeth Warren or Bernie Sanders are not on the list of anybody that's for any of the things.
Yeah, I saw an interview with Bernie the other night. I think it was Jimmy Fallon. They were interviewing Bernie, and they thought he was going to be Secretary of Transportation, possibly.
Well, that's the one that they're saying Mayor Garcetti from L.A. is supposed to be taking.
Okay.
Department of Defense is Michelle Flournoy, former Undersecretary.
Fiorini?
Flournoi. Flournoy.
I don't know. I haven't seen his cabinet. The only most recent thing I saw was some last guy, Klein, that was going to be like his chief of staff.
Yeah, that's the only one that's what this article starts with. It's the only official.
Oh, okay.
Because these are all like assumed. Because I don't know if he's allowed to do it yet or not. I mean, speaking of that, like he's already been speaking with foreign leaders. Which what's his face with the Trump campaign got in a bunch of trouble for.
Well, China didn't even recognize him until like yesterday or today.
I mean,
that's funny.
That's not surprising.
I mean, I doubt he's talked to him outside of like them congratulating him. I mean, shit, this is still not even a week old.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, ex-vice presidents talk to world leaders, so it's not like that.
Yeah. They have Suzanne Rice for Department or Secretary of State, which she was the undersecretary to Hillary when Hillary Clinton was the Secretary of State. So
not a far leak.
A younger, blacker Hillary Clinton.
Obama, a younger, blacker Hillary.
I mean,
that's funny.
That's one of Department of Treasury, Lael Brainard, formerly Federal Reserve Governor, former Undersecretary of the Treasury. Again, a lot of these people are former second in line to whoever Obama's department heads were. Doug Jones, who was the guy that lost to Tommy Tuberville in Alabama for the Department of Justice.
Really?
So who is Joe Biden's wife's name?
Jill.
Someone I didn't know if anyone would know. Do you think that people will know Jill Biden as much as they knew Obama's wife?
I mean, I don't know. That depends. Because I really Ivanka wasn't particularly visible. Like she was around and you'd see her and stuff. But like compared to Michelle, no. I mean, compared to when Hillary was first lady, she was a much more present first lady than many. But Michelle was a very present first lady, where Barbara Bush wasn't. Or
not Barbara. Yeah, Barbara and what's her name?
Yeah, that's both of them.
Yeah, both of them.
Yeah, both Bush wives were not particularly present.
They took more of a backseat role.
Yeah, they weren't super active. But we do have a rescue dog. That's important. That made the news the other day.
Was it one or just both of them?
I guess it's both of them. I don't know. They were talking about how great it was to have a dog back in the White House. Because Trump's such an asshole, he didn't have a dog.
Yeah. Yeah, apparently it's the first rescue dog that's been a White House dog or whatever. But I don't know the dog's name.
Obama had a dog in the White House?
Yeah. He bought he got a dog while he was in the White House, and it was
yeah, that's right. Like an Irish setter or something.
No, that was a Labradoodle.
Or maybe a Labradoodle.
I'm trying to think. I think it was Bush Senior that kid's dog was like. I don't know. You don't hear about presidents' dogs, but there was one of the Bushes that you heard a lot about his dog.
Was it Clinton that had like Socks the Cat?
Yep.
That even like SNL kind of parodied.
Did you guys watch SNL last week with Chappelle?
Nah, a little bit.
I haven't watched it yet. I've been keeping on. I'm gonna find some time. I want to watch it because Chappelle's pretty good in the stand-up part. He has some times where his commentary kind of misses the mark to me, but I like Chappelle a lot. I think he does good work.
His initial commentary was kind of like hit and miss. I'd say like 2/3 of it was good, and a third of it was kind of like okay. Like the initial, like when the host comes out and does his his opening monologue thing. The opening monologue. Yeah. I haven't watched too much other than that.
I haven't watched Saturday Night Live. I don't know when the last time I've actually watched an episode as it happens live in a long time. I haven't had cable in a long time either. There's part of why, but it's also not as funny to me anymore. Maybe it's because I'm old, get off my lawn, or I'm not sure. It's just like it doesn't. I don't know. I can remember when I was younger, like it's Saturday Night Live. I'm staying up and watching Saturday Night Live.
All right. No, it's probably we've just gotten used to being able to like watch repeats of it on any kind of internet access.
I'm gonna say I don't even do that.
Yeah, there's not that like necessity. Like if I missed it, I'm not gonna be able to rewatch it.
That's true. I mean, that's my problem with stuff in general right now. The only thing I can get excited to watch about is a specific sporting event. Like if there's a specific sporting event on that's live, like I struggle with the ability to choose.
Yeah, I can't watch old sporting stuff. Never.
You can go in my room and watch whatever you want, but not YouTube. Yeah, that's what. Like live sports is all that matters. Like as far as like really want to watch it and stay watching it. Like anything else, like there's shows that come on. Like there's Amazon shows I've been into. I've been watching Expanse on Amazon. It was pretty awesome, but yeah.
Yeah, you watch it. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I like it a lot. I'm hoping the Drews are Amos. You'll get there.
What?
You gotta watch it. Amos, the character in the show, Amos. I'm hoping that the new guy Drew that we hired, he's the guy that'll kill people for us, just kind of cause.
Oh yeah,
that guy. I always want to have one of those around. They're handy to have. But all right. But I don't know. I got to get back into the swing. Like I haven't done an interview in like 3 weeks. I don't have any like. That's not true.
Nobody wants to do it.
Ripping everything down.
Well, it's just not as.
Ripping everything down.
Oh,
it's a podcast.
It's just not as. Say hi to your mom for me, there, Sam.
Oh, I will.
Well, I mean, it's like there was so much trying to get in and trying to get I got everybody I wanted to that was running, and so now it's time to work on other stuff. But everybody it's a good time to take a break. But I don't know. Cheryl, calm down. Jeez.
See you guys.
You're talking to girlfriend, man?
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, I'd say
Cool.
See, like I said, everybody's on vacation. It's everybody's taking a quick break, so let's take the chance to take a break. Speaking of taking a break, I got to run and yell at my kids. Talk amongst yourselves. I'll be right back.
Go yell at them.
Talk about what? Let's talk about.
Let's talk about him yelling at his kids. Let's talk about yelling at kids. So, how far away did you catch the buck? How far was that when you shot it?
Like 30 yards.
Nice. Oh, you hit a mean clean shot. Did it drop? Right then and there?
No. He ran about I hit him. He jumped. And I knew I hit him, and then he ran like 50 yards, and there was a big kind of where I was sitting. There was a bunch of trees lined up. So when he turned that corner behind those trees, I was like, I have no idea where he went. And so I got out of my hide and went over there, and I was looking, And like, I was like, damn, where did he go? Because he ran like towards where we parked the RV kind of thing. That
You ever
direction.
follow a blood trail?
And there was no blood trail. I was like, there's no blood here. And I was like, I know I hit him because he jerked, you know. And I was like, there's no blood. There's nothing. So I started walking in that direction that he ran. And then I'm looking on the ground for like blood or something. I don't see anything. There's nothing. And I was like, man, how's there no blood or anything? And then I like looked to my something, and he was just dead. He was gone. So the arrow went like right in his chest, and I think he turned a little bit as I hit him because it went in his chest, his side, and then but it was sticking halfway out his ass. So I guess there was no really even like when we field dressed him, like he
man, he disappeared apparently. Everybody disappeared. I'm talking to myself now. What's going on, people? All right, well, I had to go yell at my kids who have started cussing a lot. That's been no fun. Do. All right, well. Quite strange. So, for those of you that listen to us regularly and stuff, I screwed around earlier today while I was trying to set up. Like I mentioned, I got a new computer. And I've been trying to test different stuff. And I've been floating around the idea of doing a live YouTube or live Facebook, like show, when everybody gets together sometime, just to make it a little bit more fun and make the YouTube worth watching. But I'm having a really hard time figuring out the who's it's and what's nots and the ins and outs of it. So, yeah, we're going to keep messing with that. I think my computer is what's crapping out right now. What the French toast? Yeah, I lost connection on these guys, so maybe they'll pop back in here in a second. Zoom meeting. Do. So, yeah, lost the connection on the dudes. I'll get them back on here in just a second. So you get a couple minutes of me talking to myself. How to fix it. Let's see here. So, yeah, anyway, I'm not a technical master, as you can tell. And I'm going to get that kicked off. And and get these guys back on here in just a second. Sorry about this. So I'll probably edit some of this out, but whatever. New store's open, doing well, getting going. Oh shit, fuck that up too. Samalama, you back with me? Samalama's back with me. He's coming back. Okay. Samalama, checking in. Sam. Sam. Hello. I see your face.
You see me?
I can see your face and I can hear you on speakerphone. But I can't hear you through the system. That's why. Check again.
That's weird.
There we go.
Hello.
There we go.
Okay, I'm here.
All right.
Oh,
We'll see. There we go. Max is coming back too.
I'm cutting
I don't know. My
video.
my computer seized up there for a second. I was yelling at the kids for watching YouTube against my permission.
What happened there?
My
It
computer.
cut out too much. I mean, only cut out maybe like 5 or 10 seconds ago.
I was like,
Did you hear me talking to myself for a while?
No, mine just shut off.
Okay, I was talking to myself.
I was just listening to Max talk, telling me a good story.
Yeah, I came back down and he was talking about how it went in through the chest, came out about in his asshole, and then he started saying something about field dressing, and that's when it cut out.
Oh shit!
Yeah, so I'll try. I mean, that's probably a minute or so of weird dead air of me talking to myself before I realized
No worries.
the app shut down. I mean, the app on my computer shut down, and so anyway, I can fix that. Well,
Just have fun figuring out which audio feed was you talking and then us and Nate and Max talking.
yeah. Well, it just went.
That's weird.
Well, because it was like you said. What did you say? You said, went in through the chest, came out through the asshole, and then when we were field dressing it, and I was like, nothing happened.
Oh yeah.
Nothing. And then I said it like 4 times. I was like, oh shit, something's wrong.
Well, I can still hear Sam.
So yeah,
Because
so it
we
was
were
just
talking
me.
about the dough, and he was responding.
Yeah, I guess it finally just like cut out the Zoom meeting.
Yeah, I had to shut it down.
All of a sudden, I pulled it out of my pocket and it was like sign into the Zoom meeting, and I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, I just started new. This is a new meeting, and it's going through my phone instead of through the computer. But anywho,
Right.
I'm doing my best here. I got to figure. Like, I'm mildly concerned about how this is going to work on the road. That's another thing too. Like, are we going to do it as like the driving conversation, or are we going to just set up and like after we camp, eat dinner, and or both? I don't know.
Why would we do it as driving?
Do what?
I said, why would we do it as driving? We're doing it Saturday night, right? Normal time.
I figured we were going to do multiple sessions.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Multiple sessions. Just record the whole entire trip.
Pretty much. I mean, that was kind of the general idea of what I was thinking.
Can we do you?
If we have
Sam, who do you have service with? Cell phone service.
If we have, do you have data or just phone when you're out there?
I had everything.
Yeah, if everybody has data, we could do a Zoom call and I can record it onto my phone and then upload it to the computer and do all that shit from there too.
I was saying, do one while we're in our spots.
I mean,
like,
honestly,
no
like
one talking, just looking.
If we'd have to, somebody would have to
splice it all together.
Well, if somebody goes out this week and gets us all some sort of mounting system so we can mount our phones to our foreheads or something like that, so that the view of the camera is what we're looking at, not a selfie. It'd actually be kind of fun. If there's any action. If there's no action, it'd be boring as fuck.
Oh yeah, I already did that. I got a little ridiculous. I got a GoPro. I got a mount for it, so it'll be mounted on my rifle and my crossbow.
Yeah, and we can do that. I mean, we absolutely can. We can do like we can put together a video of parts and pieces if we want to, and I can put it on our YouTube channel and shit.
Everyone's like, for that 5 people that are listening, I want to see how the deer went.
Yeah.
It's people in Egypt that have never been deer hunting.
Hey, we've got a Japanese listener now. We've got another Australian back listening to us. And we've got a Brazilian, so we're international bitches.
Oh gosh.
We've hit all the occupied continents at least. We haven't hit.
It's like accidental misclick.
Hey, whatever.
Yeah, accidental misclicks.
Whatever.
It's
like, shit, what
they
the
were
fuck
looking for Pornhub and they found us.
Has anybody tried the new social media thing yet?
Almost in agreement. I thought I got almost in arrangement.
Almost areolas.
I thought this was a dating website.
Yeah, I mean,
That's hilarious.
I don't know. I mean, like, I don't know. Like, we joke about it all the time whether anybody's listening or not. But I mean, we have a handful. It's not a huge number. We got a handful of regular listeners. Todd being one of them, and I need to get him back on. Maybe I'll just do a me and him show because he's fun to talk to. He's fun to chat with.
I'm assuming he's like most people. Like they listen to the first like 5 or 10 minutes, see if it's going to be political, and if it's worth them listening to their interest, and they turn it off. We're just talking about sports and bullshit. They're like, never mind. It's not a political episode.
Yeah,
because we got into the habit of doing more political episodes as of late.
True. I'm trying to think back though. Like, God, I mean, first handful of episodes were all COVID shit anyway because it was when it was first coming in.
Right.
And we were trying to figure it out just because we're normal people trying to figure out what the fuck's going on.
Right. And now we're just talking about wearing masks in an NFL football game. That's close as we get to.
Right. I mean, it's just, it's I don't know. It's not where it's, what is there to talk about anymore? I mean,
it's, we're at the worst point that we've been in the whole pandemic.
So how well is the mask thing working? If
it
continues to get worse,
how well have people actually been wearing masks?
I don't know.
No, that's the big question. Exactly. Most people have. Understandably, most people have gotten tired of it. They pretty much they wore it for a while and they've kind of gotten over it and they're kind of tired of it. It's not a surprise we see an uptick in cases.
I mean, the vaccine's coming out, so everything's fine.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
I mean, not anymore. He shut it down when he lost the election.
No, because
Operation Warp Speed is now Operation
Slow as fuck.
Snail Speed. Yeah.
Operation Fuck Yourself.
Well, no, I mean,
Operation should have voted for me, bitches.
Buchanan was talking about how they were notified from the CDC or whatever that this vaccine is going to come through and that they need to set up the plan for how Knox County is going to distribute it.
She even said that, with the cases going up, that we need to have more implementation of, precautions. But she also admitted that most people would not be willing to it. Most people aren't ready for like any kind of more stringent things. Like people are already over what lax things we have in process as it is.
Right. I mean, I'm not disagreeing with that part of it. I'm just saying that it's, okay. I guess the question is, had this vaccine had been at the point that it could be where the conversation was, how do we get it out, not whether or not we have one. If it was a week prior, right, would that have changed the election?
No. I hope not, but
I'm just.
I would hope people wouldn't put their voting on there being a vaccine out.
I mean,
no, because the thing is, people are blame Trump for not having a vaccine, but they wouldn't give him credit for the vaccine. They'd be like, "Well, that was the CDC working on it the whole time. Trump had nothing to do with that."
Right.
I don't think anybody would fault Trump for not having a vaccine because he doesn't have that much control over having a vaccine out. I think there is a lot of fault in him on the lack of response for many months.
I mean,
Biden lays He cut off China. He cut off China in the beginning, and then fucking all these people got pissed off.
We weren't going to talk about coronavirus, and here we go. But it's the politics of it too. But I mean, realistically, he promised a vaccine before the election and failed, I guess, by like 3 days. But yeah, I mean, Biden,
it's been longer than 3 days.
No, that came out though. I'm pretty sure it was the week of, or at least the week after the election, that the CDC or whomever was telling local people to get ready to start working on their implementation plan.
So I don't want the vaccine. I'll tell you that.
I'm with you, buddy.
It would have to be
yeah,
the first round of people that get the vaccine. I don't know about that. I would like to see.
I'm scared that just popped in my head whether they're gonna if they're gonna obligate it for students in the public schools. Because
I don't think there's not one vaccine out yet. I mean, there's still, I think, at least 2 or 3 that have come out that are supposed vaccines.
Right, but I'm just saying
the most recent. I think the one like even Pfizer said I think they just recently said in the past day or two that it pretty much gives you a vaccine window of about a year. And even then, I want to say it's a round of like 2 separate injections.
Right. But what I was getting at is if they're going to require it for school students or not. And the deadline's already passed to change your in or out of school setup. So like we're in school, we're staying in school.
I don't think they would ever come to the point to requiring it. I mean, do they require flu shots? No. Do they require hepatitis B and C? No.
I mean, they require vaccinations. You can sign off on that. You don't. You're
right. You've got to be up to date on your tuberculosis and measles, mumps, and rubella. But you're still to go to Knox County schools. You're not required to have a flu vaccine.
So are you comparing COVID to the flu? I thought it wasn't the same.
No. I'm saying that the fucking government has not mandated enough to require that they have a flu vaccine. So I highly doubt that the school systems would go so far as to say you have to have a COVID vaccine in which to go to school.
So you're comparing the COVID vaccine to the flu vaccine, which means you're comparing COVID to the flu.
No,
whoever's got the crickets in the background is perfect right now.
That's me.
It's cracking me up.
I'm outside. I didn't know how well it was picking up.
No, it's perfect.
Now they just got now they got the music going. I may have to go back inside. Oh, damn it. Just when the hot bitches are coming back out, too.
Stay outside. Right. We could take some music in the background.
All right.
They're Hispanic.
God damn.
It's not clear enough that we have any licensing issues.
Can you guess?
Well, we've been to Mexico enough.
Christ.
When you get a bunch of teenage girls together, Mexican teenage girls together, they all sing and scream at the top of their lungs. We've seen it many, many times. So when I heard it the first time, I was like, yeah, they're Hispanic.
I mean, they were singing in Spanish too. So
no, I couldn't tell what they were singing in.
But no, I mean, I think everyone's trying to make a big deal, like, oh, they're going to require, vaccines for this and that. But I mean, if you look at history, we have not required flu vaccines in which to go to school. And yet, the American public know that flu happens every year. So, I mean, logically, it doesn't make sense to me that we would require a coronavirus vaccine in which to go to school.
Because corona's like the flu. I get it. I'm with you, buddy.
No, corona's not like the flu. I'm just saying we have a vaccine out for it.
Right, just like we have a vaccine out for the flu every year. I don't understand why you're pushing back against your own comparison.
No, I'm pushing back at the rhetoric that everyone's like, oh, you're going to have all these crazy, requirements in which to do anything. Like, to fly in a plane, you're going to have to prove your coronavirus vaccine.
I mean, okay. I was just curious. I mean, I get what you're saying, and I get where you get to from my question, but it's just a thought.
I mean, by no means am I saying that the coronavirus is not... It is worse than the flu. Yes.
It's not is worse than the flu.
God damn. Sorry. Got distracted.
Oh, I thought you were saying goddamn to me, and that was perfectly appropriate too.
No.
But
how close are your neighbors?
6 feet? 7 feet?
It's like any fucking Florida subdivision. I mean, it's 8 feet in between a building.
Oh, okay.
I mean, we're in Airbnb. I'm assuming that's probably a rental property next to us too.
What part of Florida?
Kissimmee.
Okay. You guys going to Disney World?
Fuck no.
It's open.
Fuck no. I had a pain in the ass time just trying to go to a park yesterday to go play disc golf. I think I paid like $4.25 just in like 3 separate toll stops.
Oh yeah.
And I think a lot of it was like, around, just like Disney stops where you're paying just to be on that highway that's going to get you to and from or just around Disney.
Yeah.
It's all these fucking like turnpikes. I mean, it's one of these nice about, Tennessee we don't have to deal with. But I mean, you go up to West Virginia, Ohio, Pennsylvania, you got turnpikes where you're literally paying just to drive on that fucking road.
Yeah, in West Virginia especially, the roads suck. It's like, hit me up for some money, but make the roads good for it.
I mean, they're not that bad. And everybody tries to say that Tennessee has the best roads. So, I mean, what the fuck do you guys think? We got great roads?
A lot better than a lot of other states I've been to.
Yeah.
I will agree with that. I mean,
I'm just driving through Georgia. I was like, oh my God, like Georgia's had some pretty fucking smooth roads, unless they just happen to have redone them recently, like doing like Maine, Interstate 75 through Georgia. It was pretty fucking smooth.
No, Arkansas is bad. If you drive through Arkansas.
Yeah.
I drove through a little bit of it going from like Memphis. I touched a little bit of Arkansas going up into Missouri. And I guess in that Texarkana area or whatever the fuck they call it.
I remember one time coming back from Lexington and it was bumpy, big old pothole state line into Tennessee and then smooth all the way to Knoxville.
Yeah.
That was good times.
We've definitely got some good patches. I mean, I always kind of go back to, we put down some shitty fucking asphalt to begin with. That's why every fucking year, every winter, we're having to do all these patches and shit.
No,
I'm sorry,
get up into real winter states. Like, I don't know, Ohio. How's Ohio? You've been up there recently.
Yeah.
So I remember in Wisconsin, like you talk about seasonal pothole situations. I remember like every spring it would be big ditches in the road where the road would expand and freeze and then shrink back down from warming up a little bit or whatever, and it would just be awful.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's climate issues, and you can't deal with. I mean, you got to deal with what you can. But I don't know how much. I don't know how many times you can continue to patch until it just gets to the point where you got to strip it and start over. But
I mean, I still go back to it's putting down shitty asphalt to begin with. I mean, the roads I saw in like Germany and Europe, I mean, they're essentially on the same equivalent as Canada. So, I mean, they're seeing colder climates more often than we do. I don't think they're having to repair their roads every fucking year.
Yeah, I drove all the way across Canada. That roads are pretty good.
I was going to say, how many years were you in Germany?
I was there for 2 months.
Oh.
But I've seen documentaries on the Autobahn just because it's mainly the fact that everyone likes to think that the Autobahn is unlimited mileage, across the whole thing, but it's only certain sections that are actually unlimited mileage.
Right, like AC was talking about.
But, I mean, they recognize if you're going to allow people to drive at high speeds, you can't have any perfections, or else that the road itself will be the cause of the wreck.
Right. And
then that lends cause to the state, because the state's not out keeping the roads, and that pothole was the cause of somebody causing a wreck. They're like, it wasn't my driving. It was because there was a big fucking pothole in the road, and that's what caused me, my steering wheel to jerk and me wrecking into somebody else or flip my car over. That's not improper driving. That was, fucked up roads. Who's that on? That's on the that's on the state.
But I mean, that's why the state gives. I mean, that would be one of the arguments why we have speed limits, is that our shitty roads. Right. If you're following the speed limit on our shitty roads,
right. But I mean, if you're driving 45 or 55, you hit a fucking pothole, like you're still bending your wheel and having a fucking flat tire. Like
right.
Last year was hellacious going down the interstate, just around like the major parts of town. I mean, they were fucking. You could find tire treads like everywhere for a good like month and a half solid, because everyone was having fucking blowouts.
Right.
Because the road was just fucked up. I mean, that goes back to just putting down a shitty ass level of asphalt to begin with. I mean, I don't know if that's. I've always wondered if that went back to like the contracts with the company that, the Department of Transportation has put it down, if they don't have like a repair clause or whatever, or if there is a repair clause and they're like, they only call them if they have to repair. So, I mean, it lasts 9 months before they have to call them out for repair. So it just, happens to come up on like that 1 year time frame where they've got to repair it again.
Well, I mean, it goes back to the number one thing when you get anything that the state is paying for is it needs to be properly incentivized. If they're looking for the lowest bidder, they're going to get the lowest quality.
Yeah, right. Yeah. That's definitely part of it too. Yeah.
And it's like, but again, which in fairness may not necessarily be the county or the state or the city or whoever's fault, because trying to explain that nuance on why we paid, there were 5 bids and we paid the one that was the second most expensive bid, because the stats showed that this one was going to be a better quality version of it or whatever, and trying to sell that to the public is a hard sell. So even if you want to do it more quality, I could see how it'd be hard as an elected official to take the more expensive one and have to explain that expenditure difference. Like, you took the $20 million one. There's a guy that said he would do it for $6 million. Why are you spending $14 extra million? And it's like, well, because the $6 million one was going to last a day and a half, and the $20 million one would last 5 years.
All right.
Well, that's bullshit. You're spending my money. You don't know.
Right, but I mean, a lot of the contracts come down to just general handshake of who they've been doing business with for years prior.
Right, that's a fair statement too.
So this is kind of on that same track of KEB you would think that KEB would have some electricians like working for them, right? Since they are a power company. Like, that would be my assumption, that they would have electricians.
Right.
And I was talking to Johnny today, and he was talking about one of his buddies is working out at KUB, installing a new electrical panel. It's this big thing, and I was like, why doesn't KUB have their own electricians? And he was like, yeah, but they're union. And their electricians they hire, the electricians that work for them are linemen. And linemen don't do breaker panels. And I was like, but they're electricians, right? He's like, yeah, but they're union. So their job is a lineman, not an electrician. So they have to hire a private company to do their electrical work. And I'm like, that is silly. You would think they could be like, Billy, Tom, you ain't got shit to do today. Come put this panel in.
Yeah.
Right. Well,
you're trained to work with higher levels of voltage. Can you figure out something that's lesser voltage?
Exactly. They can, because they're all electricians, but their job.
Some of it's down to your certifications for what you're actually trained to deal with.
No, it has to do with their union. And if a guy's hired by the union as a linesman, he works on the lines. He does not work on breaker panels.
I mean, hell, KUB subs out their fucking meter readers.
Yeah, that's true too. There's no meter readers in the union. It's just like if Johnny's working on a panel and there's stuff that has to be taken off prior to it, he can't work. He can't do that. They have to have an engineer or whatever to take apart the panel for him to work on or something like that. It's like, because he does not have that job title. Good old unions.
Yeah. I mean, if it's not in the job description, they won't do it. It's like, hey, can you change the toilet paper roll when you finish shitting?
No,
because it's the polite thing to do. Replace the toilet paper when you get up. No, I can't do that. It's not my job. It's that would be considered work, and that's not part of my union contract.
Yeah, that's a great analogy there.
I mean, it's always the joke. It's like, going back to roads and shit. You talk about you pull up on you're on the interstate. You pull up on a job site, and there's 20 fucking people there, and there's one guy digging a ditch. And 19 people just standing around watching one guy dig a ditch.
Yeah, because they're the watchers.
Right. That's the right union job right there. I want to be a stop sign guy. That's what I want to do. Stand on the side of the road with a stop sign.
That's got to be fucking boring as hell, though.
Yeah, it probably does.
Yeah, standing there all day, turning it, stop, slow, stop.
Yeah,
slow.
That's one of those jobs that I'd be for like 2 days. I'd be like, this is fun. And then I'd quit. But I mean, hell, it probably makes some ridiculous hourly. It's probably like $30 an hour or something.
It probably is.
Or it's like an apprenticeship for the actual work of whatever's going on there, and you're getting paid dirt. Yeah, go hold the sign. What I'm not learning how to do the thing. I don't care. You're my apprentice. Go be an apprentice. Apprentice is holding the stop sign. They're all out. I've been running into those guys all the time. There so many tree companies are out right now doing leaf and tree cleanup. I've had a bunch of, I don't know if it's abnormal how many trees down this year, but there's been a bunch around my neighborhood not neighborhood, but like around my neighborhood, as far as like getting in and out of my neighborhood, there's been a bunch of tree workers. Speaking of KUB, they've been threatening to cut down a bunch of my trees, and it's like, okay.
What? Threatening?
Not threatening. Like apparently the ones across the back of the yard, there's a line that runs on the property line between us and AC's neighborhood. And a couple of my trees, which I think are technically AC's neighborhood trees, are getting in the lines, and they keep coming out and just coming in the yard and painting whatever color on the tree to say that this needs to be cut or trimmed or whatever. And I don't know if it's hard to access. I don't know what my responsibility in that is. I don't know how all that works. As far as if they decide because like I said, like I think those trees are like legitimately on property line. And so I don't know how that legally stands, because like I know, like I've heard stories about people like with a tree on the corner of their yard or whatever, and the tree leans over into their neighbor's yard, and the neighbor getting pissed off and like just cutting all the limbs like straight up from the property line. And so I don't know, I mean, because we use those trees, we have swings hanging from branches, and our tree house is, our platform for our tree house is in one of those trees, and it's like I don't know if we're destroying somebody else's tree, if I have any responsibility to that, or if they just decide to cut them down one day, I just got to deal with it. I don't know how that works.
You've got a show going on over there, don't you?
Jesus.
Holy shit.
You're telling me.
I mean, put the camera on. We can watch. We're not broadcasting the camera feed. At least show us what we're looking at.
Well, sadly, there's a couple chairs in the way. But...
I just walk over there with the camera up and be like, I'm a content creator. I'm on YouTube right now.
You guys want to be on my channel?
Yeah.
Now I get to it. Is it a Zoom meeting?
Are you not already in the Zoom meeting?
Yeah. Now I flip it around.
There you go.
Yeah, that's not a good picture. Camera up. Oh, there's nothing to see.
It's kind of far away. Yeah.
So wait, you share a pool? I'm confused.
Huh? No, they're in the pool next to us. I mean, the houses are literally like 6 feet apart.
Okay. I was thinking that I was thinking it was that glass door to your left. They were inside that, but that's the house you're at.
Oh. Yeah, it's the house we're at. I'm on the far side of the pool.
Showing some legs, Sam leg.
Super obvious. I can't go on the other side of the pool and be facing them. That just looks a little too obvious.
You could absolutely do it. You are part of the party renting the property you're on, and if it's within sight
I'm pretty sure they were showing off some shit earlier. I think they still are. I mean, they're literally in like G-strings. I'm just like, what the fuck?
Oh, damn. Yeah, okay. I think you're obligated. At this point, you're obligated to go over there and take at least one picture. Send me that picture, and that will be our episode art. Be like, hey, this is a hard episode to listen to. There's a lot of background noise, and this is why. I think that is the morally responsible thing for us to do.
We're sorry for the interruptions, but this is the reason.
Yeah. Oh man, I got on a Jordan Peterson kick this week. I was listening to some of his podcasts, and he was talking about why the concept of utopia is impossible. Have you thought about that at all?
No.
I mean, I know a couple places have tried it. There was I looked up once. There was like a website. It was a place in Denmark. It was called like Freetopia or Freedonia or something. They tried to have like a self-sustaining kind of community, and it kind of half worked, but it never went great.
Well, I think
like you just work. If you want something, you go get it or leave it or that kind of thing.
I don't know.
It's hard to really establish a true society where you've got everything.
I mean, there's
like everybody. I mean,
theoretically, there's
got, all sorts of different kinds of doctors, as far as like dentists and people that could, not the orthopedist, deal with any kind of arm fractures and whatnot, to really truly have bakers, brewers, to even have a brewery, wineries, to truly have a self-sustaining society, really takes a large group of people. Which we used to have, going back a couple hundred years, you had
1,500 people
that were
right.
They were self-sufficient. You had a handful of farmers that were growing most of the fruits. I mean, you didn't have the availability, but you had the sustainability of local vegetables and fruits and stuff that were able to be grown. They were able to be brought to market and shared with everybody else in that community, to where they were essentially semi-self-sufficient. I mean, things like coffee and stuff didn't really come into, most people's thing until we started finding it from, other nations. And we were like, holy shit, this stuff's awesome. Tea and spices.
Right. Nicotine, tobacco.
Yeah. I mean, that was totally oblivious to most cultures until it was finally introduced to us. Then it became,
right. And with our
high class.
This is funny. This is a terrible thing. It's a joke. Just get that out of the front of it. But we go on and on about how much we fuck the Native Americans over, and they're the ones that brought tobacco to us white people, and nobody holds them accountable for that. I'm just throwing it out there. I mean, I don't agree with it. I'm just just saying it out loud. But anyway, so
there was tobacco around before the Native Americans, wasn't there?
No. Tobacco was a North America, or an America's plant.
Really?
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, chocolate's another one too. And it used to be like a more like a hot chocolate.
What, South American?
Yeah. Potatoes is another one.
Yeah.
So as far as the American diet, it's all the America's fault. Corn.
Maize.
Yeah, I mean, then all the worst things that we love so much were all introduced by the Native Americans. Well, introduced might be an overstatement. That's a little unfair too. But anyway, going back to Utopia. I mean, there's 1,000 versions of Utopia. It just depends on how you want to label it or whatever. But I think it was he was talking about a Nietzsche quote. I think it was, and basically it's like man, in the general version of man, human will intentionally fuck it up because there's a inert need for the struggle. Having it easy is not okay with our hunter-gatherer brain.
Yeah, I can see that.
And I thought it was an interesting little kind of outlook on it. It's like, it's easy to theorize about how great a utopia would be and how it could work and all that kind of different stuff. But no matter how you do it, no matter how well structured it is, at the end of the day, without struggle, without uncertainty, without all these unknowns that are what we consider normal life, you'll make your own. I mean, that's kind of one of the jokes is that, all these different social justice issues are only issues because we don't have real issues to fight about. We don't have real there's not real war, there's not real threat of hunger or anything like that. For the most part, there are people out there that are hungry, don't get me wrong, but we don't have any real threat. And so we got to find something to fight. And so fighting gender norms or fighting, sexual orientation norms or something like that is something that we need to fight about because we have an innate internal need to fight about stuff because without a struggle, we don't know what to do with ourselves. And so we make one up. And so that was a very.
I can see that.
Yeah. Jesus, are they getting louder?
Maybe a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah, they're getting louder.
I think that's part of it. I mean, there are things that try to induce us into fighting over other things, rather things that would.
Right, I guess the question is, how do we focus? How do we focus on things that need to be fought about? And and let some of the things that, I'm not going to say that there's not need to have discussions and have real conversation about trans rights or something like that. I think that, the libertarian in me is like, I don't care what you are and who you are and what you do. It doesn't matter to me. But we have real issues, but we're too busy fighting about small issues or at the end of the day, these are not life and death issues. These are, kind of superficial, and that's not a fair way to say it, I guess, but it's the best word I'm coming up with. We're making up all these superficial issues because we don't have anything really worthwhile to work against. I mean, it goes back to the Reagan quote of, full on middle of the Cold War. Reagan says something along the lines of, if we had an invading alien species coming down to attack us, we would get over this, Russia-U.S. fight real quick.
Yeah.
All right. Sam, we might have to kick you off. It's getting too much.
I'm gonna jump off. I'm gonna jump off anyway.
All right. Well, guys, we're gonna be back with you in a couple days with some craziness. So we'll do a short episode this week. Guys, I love you. Be good. Be safe. If I don't see you before Thursday, I can't wait to get on the road.
Yeah.
All right. I'll do the outro after you guys get out of here.
All right.
All right, guys. That was a little bit weird, a little bit funky in the background, but I always talk about I'm a big Rogan fan. I have been for a long time, and one of his things is you got to be consistent. You got to keep putting them out. So we're gonna keep putting them out, and we're gonna keep doing what we can. We're 4 different individuals with 4 different lives going on at the same time. We're really good friends, but sometimes the schedules don't line up. So we appreciate everybody. Hit us up. Let us know what you want to talk about. If there's somebody you want to talk to, I don't care. I'll talk to the randomest ass person you can think of. It's all about whether it's interesting and whether it advances my knowledge or communal knowledge of a subject. We were talking about roads just now. It's like, well, that'd be an interesting conversation to have. Like a road engineer is like, is Sam right? Are they just putting shitty asphalt down and that's why it sucks? Or is there something we don't know about that? So any civil engineers out there that want to hit us up, let us know. But we are out of here. Short episode, almost an agreement, episode 30 something. Like I said, we're a little distracted. We are all psyched up and ready to go on our trip. As soon as I finish breaking this down and getting it onto the interwebs for you guys, I'll be packing up the studio to take it into the camper and do it on the road. So we'll have a bunch of stuff coming out over the next 10 days or so. And then, we'll get back into the stride. Holiday weekend. Have a safe, happy holidays, everybody. Be good to each other. Do what you can. We're here for you guys, and we're having a good time, and we hope you are too. Much love, everybody. Have a great night.